Saint Marcus Mars. Mars is known by the title Environmental Warrior God, and compared to the other Gorosei members, exhibits a somewhat more humane attitude in certain matters. During the Ohara incident, he treated Professor Clover with kindness, acknowledged his achievements, and was visibly saddened upon hearing the news of Ohara's destruction. Around 20 years ago, during a conversation with Professor Clover, he warned him that poneglyphs could lead to the return of the ancient weapons, potentially plunging the world into a crisis. However, when Clover revealed that he had discovered the truth about the Great Kingdom, which had been erased by the world government, this effectively became Ohara's death sentence, leading to the island's destruction via Buster Call. During the Summit War saga, when Blackbeard's rise was discussed in Gorosei meetings, Mars expressed curiosity about the connection between Luffy and Silver's Rayleigh. He also pointed out that Blackbeard was extremely familiar with Whitebeard's former territories. During the Levelly arc, Mars met with Figarland Shamrock and reminded him that he was a god knight, warning him not to interfere in politics. When Luffy awakened Gear 5 and the true name of his fruit was revealed to be Nika, the Gorosei stated that the fruit had been evading them for 800 years. Mars, however, remarked that the fruit was actively doing so on its own. At some point, when Saturn failed to defeat his enemies, he summoned all the Gorosei members to Egghead. Upon witnessing Mars's devil fruit form, Rob Lucci was shocked and pleaded with him to spare Kaku, but Mars walked away without giving any assurance. During his fight against Luffy and Bonnie, Mars was repelled and disappeared into the sky. Later, he was seen watching the battle's progress in Mary Joaz alongside the other Gorosei members. At that moment, Figarland Garling entered the room and announced that he was the new god of science. Mars's devil fruit allows him to transform into a monstrous humanoid bird with a snake-like body and sharp fangs. In what appears to be an awakened form, black, fiery smoke emerges from his neck area. In his fully transformed state, Mars can fly freely and was able to reach Egghead's labophase at incredible speed. Additionally, he was unaffected by laser beams and pierced through the Frontier Dome. Mars's attacks include unleashing a powerful energy beam from his mouth, which can easily melt metal structures and push back giants. Mars is also a highly skilled Haki user. Using Supreme King Haki, he knocked out multiple Denden Mushi, which were about to broadcast information regarding the Void Century and the Will of D. Furthermore, with Observation Haki, he was able to detect a hidden Denden Mushi inside Punk Records. Saint Topman Warcury. Warcury is an elderly, obese man with scars on his forehead and right cheek. Compared to the other elders, he takes authority more seriously. When Aokiji went to stop Luffy and his crew without receiving any orders, Warcury was furious. He also spoke harshly about Crocodile and Luffy, believing they threatened the balance of power. He belittled Sakazuki, telling him that his honor was worthless, and aggressively criticized Aokiji for working with Blackbeard. However, like Mars, Warcury has shown occasional glimpses of conscience. When Imu ordered the destruction of the Lulusia Kingdom, Warcury pointed out that the region had a large population, but he carried out the order without hesitation. Like the other Gorosei, Warcury can issue a Buster Call and control Pacifista and Seraphim units. He possesses incredible regeneration abilities. After receiving a powerful punch from Emeth, one of his teeth was broken, but it quickly restored itself. Warcury's devil fruit grants him the ability to transform into a human Fengshi hybrid, and in his full transformation, he takes the form of a massive, four-tusked demon boar. In this form, he can unleash Haki-infused roars so powerful that they can knock out Marines from kilometers away. Despite his gigantic size, Warcury is extremely agile and can launch himself at his opponents. His hide is exceptionally durable. He withstood Luffy's Red Rock attack without showing any reaction. Even when Luffy attacked in Gear 5 with Haki, Luffy ended up hurting himself instead. The only person who has been able to directly injure Warcury is Emeth. When Warcury and the other Gorosei discovered that the real location of the broadcast Denden Mushi was inside the Iron Giant, they immediately went after Emeth. Upon finding him, they realized that Emeth was the same Iron Giant that attacked Mary Jiwi's 200 years ago and attacked him instantly. Although Emeth fell into the ocean, he quickly emerged from the water and landed a devastating punch on Warcury. At the end of the arc, Emeth unleashed Joy Boy's Haki using a device and sent the elders back to Mary Joyce. Saint Ethanbaron Firth Nusjuro. Nusjuro holds the title of Warrior God of Finance. He is a tall, bald, and elderly man. He is the only elder who does not wear a suit and constantly carries a long katana in his hand. Compared to the other Gorosei, he is more anxious. Even the loss of a single warlord was a major concern for him. After the Marineford War, the loss of 3 warlords further increased his worries. He was the first to recognize that the balance could not be maintained this way and argued that a cleansing was necessary. Nusjuro has a cold and emotionless nature. When the order was given to test the Mother Flame in the Lulusia Kingdom, he showed no concern for the casualties. His devil fruit is awakened, allowing him to transform into a skeletal horse-centaur hybrid demon at will. In this form, he is incredibly fast and agile. His hind legs are powerful enough to kick even giants away. Nusjuro also possesses the ability to create ice. He can infuse his sword with ice, allowing his attacks to freeze their targets. In his beast form, he also has the ability to bite his enemies. He is an exceptionally skilled swordsman. While galloping in his hybrid form, he can perform super precise slashes, as seen in Egghead, where he disabled all pacifistas by freezing their insides without damaging their exteriors. His hockey mastery is formidable. He was able to match Zoro's attacks and use observation hockey to detect life signals within Labaphase. Nusjuro was the one who issued the order for Ohara's destruction via Buster Call. Due to his strict adherence to balance policies, when a Marine reported that Shanks and Whitebeard were meeting, he ignored it, instead focusing on the need to replace Crocodile. During the Egghead incident, he constantly complained about Vegapunk's actions and did everything he could to prevent Bonnie from escaping. When Bonnie tried to flee, Nusjuro intercepted her, but Sanji stepped in to stop him. Even though Nusjuro managed to bite Sanji, Sanji still fulfilled his duty. As his attacks were continuously blocked and countered, Nusjuro made his way to Labaphase and sliced through the cloud layer. During this time, he noticed Jinbei and Zoro attempting to escape toward the Thousand Sunny. However, Zoro stood in his way to stop him. A fierce clash occurred between the two, but no definitive outcome was reached. Atlas sacrificed herself to create an opening for the Straw Hats to escape. But even this was not enough to stop Nusjuro. Just as he was about to catch them, the release of Joy Boy's hockey forcibly sent him and the other elders back to Mary Joy's. Saint Shepherd Jew Peter. Peter holds the title of Warrior God of Agriculture. He is a slender, bronze-skinned individual. He shouted the order for Clover's execution. He is aware of Nika's true nature and takes the devil fruit threat very seriously. When Warcury referred to the Nika fruit as a legend, Peter questioned why the fruit's name had changed. During the Lulusia incident, he completely followed Imu's orders, but he did not hesitate to question the logic behind eradicating an entire country. Peter possesses the ability to transform into a sandworm. He has the power of a human sandworm hybrid devil fruit. Like the other Gorosei, his devil fruit is awakened. His body can grow to a massive size, and he can easily swallow his opponents. Additionally, he has a strong vacuum breath ability that can engulf an entire island and its surroundings. This breath is so powerful that even giants cannot escape from it. He can forcefully eject anything he has sucked into his mouth into the air or onto the ground. During the Egghead incident, he sneakily attacked Luffy from underground along with the other elders, swallowing him whole. However, giants came to Luffy's aid, cutting off Peter's head and rescuing Luffy. Despite receiving heavy damage, Peter quickly recovered and created a powerful whirlpool, attempting to suck in his enemies. However, Luffy threw a building into his mouth, blocking his vacuum breath. Peter quickly recovered from this. Unlike the other elders, Peter only used observation hockey. He observed Bonnie and Luffy's Nika transformations with observation hockey. During the Egghead incident, when Luffy declared he would become the Pirate King, Peter heard a sound and grew suspicious, wondering if it was Nico Robin. The Elder's main target was to kill Vegapunk. Therefore, Peter immediately headed toward the giant's ship and tried to pull it in with his vacuum power. However, Luffy noticed this and delivered a powerful punch to Peter. Later, Emeth reappeared and tried to use his weapon, but failed due to his old age. Peter severed Emeth's arm. However, Emeth released Joy Boy's hockey, sending Peter and the other elders retreating. Saint Jaygarcia Saturn known as the warrior god of science and defense, went to Egghead with the goal of killing Dr. Vegapunk, but after failing in his mission, his immortality was taken away by Imu, and he died in agony, burning. Unlike the other elders, he seemed to have a small degree of empathy toward important figures. Before killing Vegapunk, he told him he was grateful to him and referred to his death as an unfortunate event. However, in reality, He died because of his scientific curiosity. After Emeth's attack on Mary Joyce, despite an order to destroy Emeth, Saturn insisted on studying him. He set up a secret research unit and decided to investigate Emeth. He believed Emeth's powers would provide a great advantage to the Marines in the future, but this decision would ultimately lead to his death 200 years later. Saturn had no respect for human life. When some vice admirals concerned about security expressed their fear of his power, Saturn dismissed their concerns, saying he considered them nothing more than insects. Saturn was a diabolical individual who had no hesitation in conducting cruel experiments on his subordinates. As a result of these experiments, many subjects developed untreatable diseases like sapphire scales. He started working to transform Kuma into a weapon who had lost his free will, promising to free his daughter. When he reached Egghead, he revealed his true form for the first time. He possesses a devil fruit power that resembles a bull spider hybrid. Low-ranked Marines who saw him immediately died. Despite the Buster Call being implemented and the presence of the Emperor crews, he insisted on staying on the island. Saturn, like the other Gorosei, has an incredible regeneration ability and physical durability. He was unaffected by the sword that Bonnie stabbed into his neck or Frankie's laser. As mentioned before, he designed a mechanism that would allow Kuma to self-destruct if his free will was ever restored. However, Vegapunk changed this into a mode that could only be turned off, but Saturn failed to notice the change. Saturn attacked his enemies by releasing poison from his legs and spitting large explosive liquids from his mouth. He also participated in the indigenous hunting tournament on God Valley 38 years ago, and personally dealt with Kuma there. Saint Figarland Garling. Garling holds the title of the new warrior god of science and defense, and has taken Saturn's place. He is tall, with hair resembling a crescent moon. He constantly carries a sword in his hand. Unlike other world nobles, he is not selfish or cowardly, but he views anyone below his status as trash. He said that he only subscribed to Painter Mangaka and that he really liked his videos. Without hesitation, he immediately executed Saint Miosgard, who was defending Neptune and his family. As someone who places no value on human life, he participated in the human hunting tournament on God Valley for 38 years, viewing it as a sport. Even when he received a 10,000-point penalty for starting the race early, he claimed that he simply wanted to give others an advantage, and then went on to become the God Valley champion. There is no definitive information about his powers, but since he is known to use a sword, he is likely a master swordsman. When Saint Saturn died, he went to join the other elders and said, "Let's get to work without wasting any time."